Welcome to Vlog Thursday 299. Someone asked me what special thing I'm going to do for 300. I don't know. So I'm open to suggestions. What do we do when you have 300 live streams posted? I have no idea. Actually, I think a couple of them weren't live. So 300 Vlog Thursdays. At least we can say I have 300 of those. I don't think I did the first a number of them live, but we have. Well, actually, we'll start here. Good afternoon from in my office from Travis. So Travis is the closest to me geographically, I think. Melbourne, Australia. You're probably geographically the furthest from me. Poland, Netherlands, Ireland. All right, we've bounced around the globe a bit here. That's always exciting. All these people from all over the place. Switzerland, Italy. So all my European friends joining in here. Chicago. I like Chicago. Chicago's a cool place. I don't know if I want to live there, man. It is there's a lot of traffic. So let's see. What do we got here? We have an agenda, so we want to stick to it because I'm not going to be on here for long. I always say that. I don't know if that's true or not. But I feel like I want to go do things. Let's start with where you can find Tom. And that's going to be GurCon, October 13th and 14th, 2022. And that's next week, by the way. So I tweeted it. No one tweeted back at me. Maybe people, the 17.4 thousand people that follow me on Twitter, apparently aren't going to GurCon. Different audiences. But nonetheless, if you are going there, hey, I'll be there next week. IT Nation, and that's going to be November 9th through 11th. So those are a couple of things I'll be at. And I'll be at the Acronis Cyber Fit. That's, I think, the 8th and 9th. So, yeah, a couple different things. Let's see. What do we have here? Belgium, Dutch, Spain, Egypt, all over the place. More Netherlands, Saudi Arabia. What else do we have? Newfoundland. I don't think I see that one very often. That's cool. But let's just jump into talking about a few changes from the people over at XCP-ng. I wanted to jump in there because like every month they just release new cool things. And man, I don't know. I'm such a fan of the way they do that. Let's see. We could probably just jump right to, I think it's better if I present it as a tab. Now, this is the, less exciting, but the general maintenance things that have been released. And there's a bunch of bug fixes to the 8.21 update. I rolled some of my systems. I didn't roll them all up to the update. Bug fix, if you add SRIOV, I don't know if anyone, the HomeLab people probably aren't using it as much, but these are things that are important to get fixed. Bond update relay ignored, bug fix boot failures to IO MMUs on some hardware. There's a forum thread on it. They're actually really good at just those little details and making sure that they get fixed. Like they really are in the forums, just hammering out any problems that are found in there and definitely doing it. We have compression support for OpenSSL. Rebuilt without compression support, although compression was not offered by default. Clients don't enable compression now. It's better security-wise not to support at all due to, yes, there's a reason for that. That's this right here. That is the compression ratio info leak made easy crime. I remember this. This is from a long time ago. When did that come out? 2012. Yeah. It's a way you can get, this is one of the reasons you turn off compression on OpenVPN for the same reason. There's a way to defer data going through there based on the way the compression is. Actually really clever. But yeah. Received a fix, backported Citrix hypervisor's hotfix was addressed possible segmentation fault if you create a lot of snapshots at the same time. I've seen people do that and break things, so that's a good update. Updated storage manager, creating local ISOs that is a mount point for another file system. When I mount it, the patch was not accepted upstream because it touches legacy code. Citrix won't support, according to developer who answered, but we considered it safe and useful to apply to XCP-ng. Okay. I don't think I've run into issues, but I've seen it where the ISO mount gets stuck, and I don't know, it doesn't happen. Doesn't happen too often, but it's a thing. It's a thing that has happened. All right, let's switch over to where I think the more fun stuff is. And that's over here in the, where did it go? Xen Orchestra. Now, this is where they do a really great job of updates. And of course, it's the exciting stuff like the file level restore on S3 backups. And this is their new split mode, split VHD, where each block of small files is now compatible with the file level restore feature. Not only can you use file level restore in S3 backups, but also while using backup encryption. Now, I am looking to test this. I'm re-engineering the backups at my office that we do, and I'll be using all of this for a second. One of the things that you may not realize is in Orchestra, it's actually easy to have multiple targets for your backup. And then you can try all the different options. So I can maintain my first set of backups as I always do. Then I can start testing another set of backups at another remote, as they're referred to, another target for my backups. And so I've already started some of the testing on X. Like I said, I'm going to re-engineer how I do a few things on there. Web hooks for snapshot. Yeah, this is neat. I think it's cool that you could possibly notify a VM via an HTTP request before a snapshot. This opens up some interesting possibilities because you're saying that before your snapshot, you can actually send a HTTP request to tell it to do something. And this might be really handy in case if you're running a database where you can say, hey, send this before we do the snapshot, and it will queue up the database, let's say, to do a dump into a file. That way, all your transactions in flight get written out somewhere, like maybe a cache flush. There's probably a couple different things you can think of to do with this, to put things in a known state. That way, when you restore from the snapshot, you have some way to do it with pulling it, as opposed to the potential for losing data in flight. So that's kind of clever. And they're, shut down, restart a service, disconnect user, purge sensitive data. That's another one. You could purge sessions or whatever. Just really neat. Empty a trash bin or /temp. Yeah, this is probably a really good one there. Accidentally just acquiring a bunch of useless data. So that's pretty neat. Allow NFS subdir on creation. We've been asked about this feature for a while. We managed to finally improve it. Creating a VM storage party in Xen Orchestra, you can now point directly to a subdirectory without needing to export it from NFS. This is kind of a neat way because the way you did it previously is you just set up multiple exports. I really like that they added the subdirectory option. Now you can have a single export, and for me, it's usually TrueNAS. I set up a single NFS export, but then create a series of subdirectories under that export. So definitely something that is, pretty cool that they're going to have on there. I've just, like I said, my overall happiness with Xen has been the fact that there's just so many new features that they just show up every month like magic. Well, it's actually not magic. I should be more specific. It's not magic at all. It's the work of very dedicated, very hardworking developers. And those developers work because people buy subscriptions to the Xen server. I've been talking to more businesses as we do consulting, and I'm just like really beating into some of their heads that yes, this product works. So we'd like to continue the further development of this great product and keep people employed, pushing out new features. I highly recommend you buy a subscription for said software. So I always encourage businesses to do that. And of course, for the home lab people, I have an entire way to compile it yourself if you just want to run this in your lab. So yeah, it is a really solid system for doing stuff. Handy for that beacon service that monitors tasks. I always forget their name. If ping does not get resolved, you can send a notification. Yes. Have Hyper-V server using data center license key to activate tests. How would I license VMs to XCP if I migrate over instead of Hyper-V without burning through? I don't know the Windows licensing. I'm not an expert on, so I don't have an answer for your Windows licensing question. I don't know. So that part is not something I am an expert on. But what were we doing today? Did we get these created? Oh, look, we made some more Windows VMs. I can share those. Because we are building another lab. Activation needed. And for our lab stuff, we're just using some generic licenses that we have. You can just use the temporary stuff for it. See that? What's that one running on? We'll go back to here. But I have one of my staff is building out these Windows server. You get like 6 months demo. So we're building a demo server because people are always asking me some Active Directory questions. We have some real work we have to do to lab things out for clients. But we also have some of this to do. So we talking about some networks on there. Didn't get the net. Why is it not doing that? Huh. I don't know why the network's not showing up. I'll figure that out later. I should know its IP address, but we don't. I don't know why that's not working. We did, though, set up more servers, and I don't know why this one's using that much CPU, but we do have some VMs on here, so let me go find one of them so we can start it. This, Kyle, Ubuntu. Oh, where did mine go? Oh, Phoronix. There we go. All right, cool. We'll start up the Phoronix lab. There we go. We'll talk about how that works. I still wish XCP had the Windows guest tools in the ISO. The upgrade thing only installs the needed drivers. Yeah, I mean, is what it is. I don't know. It doesn't bother me much because I mean, you can use and the weird argument that I have heard from a few people is because the Citrix, you can use the Citrix drivers as well. But I've heard people go, but the Citrix drivers are closed source, Tom. I don't want to load some closed source drivers on my closed source operating system. What? Like, I don't know. Oh, that's not the network I wanted associated with. So let's see. We need it associated with this network. There we go. This is our, this will be part of our system. There's actually something I should probably point out, and I need to do a video on this because this topic comes up a lot. Let me pull up a thing to log in here. You know what? I guess for this, I got to share my screen differently. So it's remove, stop, present a screen. We'll got to go an entire screen. This one. How's that going to work? Like that. There we go. All right. And zoom in a little bit. Now, this is the one thing I'm going to have to talk about. Actually, I can probably move this, and this over, and this over, and this here. There we go. That way, if not, I lose all the comments. But one of the basic things that not everybody realizes you have to do, and that's this one right here. So if we do, where's the command? It's shrink it down a little so this looks normal. There we go. The one of the things you have to set up when you're setting up Xen server, and I'm going to cover this on my upcoming video on how to get started with Xen server. These are what they're named now. This first part here, ETH0, ETH1, ETH2. This is what they used to be named. And here's the interfaces on there and what drivers you're using. And what I've done is made a quick script so that will interface rename update ETH0, P2, PP, ETH1, this one. And you have to line up the interfaces for all your systems to be the same. And that's something that I know some people struggle with. They have a write-up on it. I mean, this is not secret information. It's in their documentation. But it's one of those things, if you're mixing and matching different servers, you want them all to have the same plugs in the same places. Now, normally you could just move the network cables over. The reason I can't just move the network cables to line them up is because these two here are 25 gig connections. So in order for me to get the 25 gig connections set up and working, I needed it to be those because these are only 1 gig connection because we built out all of our new Ryzen servers with 25 gig network settings. So I wanted them to be, extra fast. So we move things around, you know, get it as fast as possible when we move VMs between different places and things like that. VirtualBox versus VMware performance differences. I don't know. I've never compared the two. The last time, it's been a little while that someone did some research and they weren't comparing VirtualBox. They were comparing VMware to Xen to I think it was just VMware and Xen. You can find it. It's some research from a couple years ago, which put them extremely close in terms of your processor. Uh, it's really close to bare metal. Like your bare metal speed between hypervisor and bare metal is not substantial, and your virtual machines, because they're not neither Xen nor VMware, add a ton of overhead. So yes, there's absolutely a loss, but it's not that substantial either way. So they end up being really close to each other. I don't know where VirtualBox falls on that at all, because no one, at least no one I know, outside of people who run it on their desktop like I do, no one really uses VirtualBox that and is worried particularly about performance of it. KVM was the other one they compared. It was some research though. They compared KVM, Xen, and VMware, and all of them were really close to each other in terms of performance. Of course, now that that's a couple of years ago, we have to know now. Is it better or worse than it was before? I don't know. Don't really have an answer to that one. Let's see. Let me pull this over here because now, why, that's weird. Google Chrome is ready. Why did it tell me that? We'll go find that VM that's running here. There we go. It's at, zoom in a little, make it easier to see for people. Then we'll pull the IP address and we'll start some abuse. This is one of the things that's important to do, is run lots of abuse on these things. I think that's the right address. Yay, look at that. We'll do this test here. We'll do option 5. Nah, I don't care about saving results. We'll pin all the processors to see what this thing can do. One of the things I'm going to do, because you've noticed how we've gotten all 24 cores here in use. So if we go over here, it's going to, there we go. Here comes our ramped up CPU usage. We have 24 cores assigned to it. One of the questions some people have is, can I start another VM with this many cores? And the answer is yes, you can. You can over provision cores. This is one of those things that I think a lot of people get confused about, is doesn't it use up all the cores into nothing? No, it'll share between them. I've even done some tests, and it's kind of interesting because it will, if I assigned another VM, so this particular machine only has 24 cores. So let's go ahead and actually, I probably have to stop it first and clone it. Well, let's just do this. It's busy, but let's go ahead and back up, restore. How long will it take to restore something? Yeah, let's just do a restore while it's running that. So we're going to do this. Then we'll restore it here. Test Horizon 2, generate a new MAC address so it has a different IP address. Hit OK. We'll watch it do a restore while it's simultaneously beating it up. But this is some of the testing we did to make sure everything works on it. And yeah, see, the restore is going to be completed in 56 seconds. We'll have another VM that we can run on this. I can't see anything about VirtualBox performance-wise, only that the UI is a headache and sucks to use. I don't know. I find the UI for VirtualBox, it works. You pull up my VirtualBox instance here. I have a pfSense demo, a Run 0 demo, as I'm working on a new video for Run 0, my Cisco thing that I keep forgetting about, Windows 10. And yes, Tom has a Windows XP. We can fire it up because why not? Because sometimes I have to pull things out of Windows XP, but it'll run here Windows XP just fine. So yeah, boots really fast too, by the way. Come on, go Windows XP. I can't remember if it has a sound in it from Windows XP or not. I don't know if I ever set the sound up on this. I just use it because there's a few things I needed out of Windows XP. Go Windows, go. It does stick right here for some reason. There we go. Windows XP. Still has a TeamViewer 9. Swish. Did anyone ever use Swish? I don't think I have any Swish files actually on here. I used to use this for designing stuff years ago. Yeah, I don't have any. I have no demos on here for Swish. Oh, that's an old version of Google Chrome. What else was on here? Lightroom 3. Some old stuff I used to use. DVD Fab. Anyone use that? Join.me. View. So, yeah, old stuff here. All right, we'll shut down Windows XP. I don't think we need it today. I tried on my practice here exposing dedicated storage of any kind, really painful. Yeah, maybe. VBox has an issue with video drivers in its latest update. I don't know if they fixed it. I don't know. It works. What's the RAM usage? I mean, what do I even have it? It only has a gig of RAM assigned to it, so I mean, Windows XP did not use too much, so not a lot there going on. From Proxmox, easier connectivity. I think it's easy depending on if you understand how some of those work. I don't know. Where's the other thing I just restored? There we go. So this is another Phoronix. And it's got to be on this network. Whoops, that's not the one. ETH0. There we go. Now I can fire up another one here. We'll have 2 instances of Phoronix running. So here's the main one. Here's another one. Actually, this only has 8 cores. So we have to boot it up, but then I'll stop it and assign more cores to it. Kind of show you what happens. How do you drill down the settings in your security camera since you have a background in photos? I bet that helps. Can you make a video on what some of the settings to do? I have my video on Synology. I don't really know. I don't know what settings you're looking for. I have this video here on setting up the Synology, so maybe that will help you. I don't know what you're looking for. I go over all the settings that you put in to the Synology surveillance station for the cameras because that's what I use. So hopefully that helps. All right. Is it booted up? Yes. Let's stop it. Let's assign some more cores. 24 cores. You can't assign more cores than exist in the system, but you can assign as many as exist to more than one VM. So this one has 24. Let's go back over to VMs, hosts. There we go. So both of these have 24 cores assigned to them. And now we'll show you what happens when 2 of them run 24 cores and pin out the processor. So let's actually break this down differently. We'll tmux it here and split the screen. So we need this one logged in. It's fun to play with all this stuff. So we'll have this one running 5. I'm going to not turn it on yet. I watched that, really helpful. I was thinking you may have made other tweaks. Nope. All the tweaks I made are in that video, all the settings and everything. I don't keep any of that on there. Will you do a Kubernetes install using bare metal? Nope. I don't do Kubernetes, so I'm not the person to ask. I think Jay has some Kubernetes videos. I don't have any Kubernetes videos because I don't use Kubernetes. I mean, I use it inside of TrueNAS, so I can't say I don't use it at all, but I don't teach things that I don't use. Oh, there we go. We should be able to actually, now you got to remember what the command was. This one right here. We'll run them both at the same time to show how this works. That's the password. AB. There we go. Extracting packages. We got to get it set up so both of them have it. Yeah. Alta Vista, for sure. Yeah, there's a few people, Network Chuckin' too, that has definitely have some videos on it. So there's plenty of people out there doing Kubernetes videos. I'm not one of them because I don't use Kubernetes. All right, now I can get this one kicked off again while that one installs. Downloading the SQLite. Oh, let's see. I know what to do when we're waiting. This is when we do it all live, right? It just kind of shows up like this. What's this thing doing? Well, it's installing things because there's that. Let's do this too. As I remember, I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have net data running on it too, so we can actually see the net data usage. Oh, we can also look at the heat. CPU temperatures. There we go. Watch our voltages and our CPU temps. So CPU temp right now is 44. We're going to fix that. Can I zoom in this? Yes. There you go. That should be more readable. Xen is supported, by the way, inside of here as well. So it recognizes Xen. It recognizes those. It recognizes some of the things running in it. But we're going to focus on what happens to the temperature when you start running all these. There we go. Option 5. No, enter. No, enter. Now, both of these systems are going to be ramping up CPU. So we're going to watch in any second now, the CPU should go crazy. Have you played about Xpro, like X2Go? Nope. I've used X2Go, but I have not used the other one. I don't know if it offers something better that the other one doesn't. I really don't know. So here we are. We're achieving, looks like what, about, peaking up here in a 50% CPU usage. So it's pulling the CPU on this one. We go back, pull these out. You can see both of them are going to do the same thing. They're going to share the CPU usage, and the processor, here we go, it's certainly raising in temperature here too. 50, but nonetheless, this is what it looks like when you over provision a CPU. The hypervisor itself will just take care of it. It just makes the magic happen. So this one's going to use that much CPU, and this one will. It's going to split the difference between all the cores as they go back and forth. And if I stop one, this will actually end up higher on the other one, but it's also fighting probably, disk usage too. So disk usage is probably another limitation because you're both pulling from the same drive. What's kind of IOPS are we getting out of this? About 80,000 IOPS out of it. So not terrible. Small amount of IO wait time, a little bit of latency. But yeah, this is some of the testing I've done for the server. You watch it slowly raise in temperature because it's getting beat up a bit. But you can do that. That's a common question that people ask those about over provisioning CPUs, but it works perfectly fine. I'm gonna probably stop doing it because I'm just wasting CPU cycles and electricity at this point. But maybe sometime I'll sit down and put a whole Phoronix test lab of what it looks like when two things run together versus when they run separately. Um, see if what type of efficiency loss there is between there. I don't know. It's one of those questions people do ask a lot. Drag this screen back over here so I can. There we go. We'll pin this. I like the way it looks. This is the screen I see. I see it like that. So, uh, where's a good place and source service for SP's internal stuff in my home lab on the cheap? I've brought this up many times. Lab Gopher. If you're looking for cheap, um, Lab Gopher is probably one of the easier places to grab them from. It's just labgopher.com. And you can find deals from, I mean, it's searching eBay. So you're finding deals on eBay. That's probably the cheapest place, unless you have a local recycler. If you want something where you get a warranty and someone actually tests it and gives you high quality equipment, Tech Supply Direct, there's an offer code I have for that. That's another great place to do it. I modified my Windows XP where the homepage got changed without my knowledge. As well, but I didn't have funds to buy a backup solution. I don't know. It's been a long time. I haven't, other than the Windows XP I have for those rare occasions that I need it. So yeah. Must have missed that part. Yeah, I covered the Xen updates right in the beginning. Like I said, I'm not putting a ton of time in today for the vlog. Feel free to ask me questions though, because I'm at the end of what I have to do, because my goal is at 4:00 to be out of here. As I got a few projects to do. Oh, I think worth mentioning. I'll bring this up. Is Invoice Ninja. We're almost ready. I say almost. Let me see if it refreshes. There we go. Do I have any clients in here? I don't have any clients in here to really show anything. But Invoice Ninja, let me put the screen back on. Invoice Ninja V5 is just about done for us. It's been out for a while, but we have some testing to do because of the volume of invoices that we have. I thought we have more than one demo company. Oh, that's right. Here's a client. Here we go. Here's what the new Invoice Ninja looks pretty nice. It does have a dark mode. Where's my dark mode at? Why isn't it showing? I don't know why dark mode's not showing. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. It works fine. And this is my non-production one. But yeah, this is what we're going to be migrating to, because I'm finally getting off of the old version of Invoice Ninja, which is still supported, but eventually got to move away from it. It's a lot of it's built on some older technology, and everything's moving to that V5. So that's something I'll be talking about once I get over there to it. So, oh, do I talk about security? Yes, I did want to talk about security. I just dove into on my last home lab show, kind of just ran through a lot of home lab security stuff. So check that out on the last episode, and where I cover a lot of things. But just in general, when it comes to security, I'm trying to figure out what I want to cover next, because the demand is there for security stuff, but I always trying to figure out what's very relevant to the audience. And maybe I'll show some more investigative stuff. I've shown how we do Sentinel-1 things, but I know there's a lot of demand for me talking about Errata, but I really want to get a video done on Security Onion. That has been one of them for a while that I think is just very valuable to the people that want to get into understanding security. But yeah, it was kind of a one. I'll throw the question out for you, but I think probably a lot of people would like to see a video on Security Onion. There's been a couple people ask me about doing an updated video on Errata. It really hasn't changed since I did the last video. So I was trying to figure out, where the value is, because it takes certain amount of time to produce any of these videos. So I have to make sure that the value it provides, the changes that have occurred, would be more valuable than a video that's just 2 years old. That, yeah, there's a couple little things that changed that are pretty minor and not significant to the video. So covering Wazoo. Yeah, Wazoo is that's a big one. I have to really sit down and play with it. I want to, but because I haven't used it, I've used security in a lot more than I've used Wazoo. So it's on my list to check it out because I think they've put a lot of engineering into making it easier to use. So that's on the list of things I'm going to do, is Wazoo as well. Perhaps a bit off topic, but could you elaborate a bit on setting number of cores for CPU in a virtual machine? CUDA, would more CPUs, more cores or CPUs be better? How does it translate to the host? It depends on the host. So sometimes people do it more for licensing reasons than anything else. It doesn't, to my knowledge, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, assigning it 2 cores or assigning it multiple sockets doesn't matter. You can assign 2 single core sockets or 1 socket, 2 cores. And I don't believe there's anything different, but the way some tooling works outside the open source community world, they're based on the licenses. So sometimes you may want to assign your virtual machine based on the licensing needs you have. So I don't think that's probably a big deal there. So virtualization security. It's virtualization security is the same as any security. There's not anything special you have to do when you virtualize it. It's like separate your networks. That's an important part of it. Whether it's virtual or not, network segmentation is still one of those things. Xen is actually really solid on security. Xen does really solid memory separation. So it's actually kind of got a lot of inherent security in there that makes it harder to cross boundaries for things. So there's that as a technical thing, but that's usually not as much a where people are warning. So for those who don't recognize, oh, CISA Plus certified. Yes, awesome. And congrats, you got that on there. I got your certification. pfSense 2.7 stick with FreeBSD 12.3 instead of finally release date. I don't know what you're talking about because isn't in the Netgate/blog. So we'll just share the screen over here. Read the blog post. So where's it at here? Moving to FreeBSD main, pfSense and Community Edition are both going to the new version. So I don't know where you got your information, but the people that write this, unless I'm reading it wrong, we are moving to the version of PHP by PSN 8.1. We also made a decision to move the base operating system BSD from 12 stable to the current development top of the tree version known as head, writing 14 current. So the project is going to that one. So I don't know what you're talking about in terms of that. So hopefully that helps. Paperless NG, don't know what that is. The screen feature you're using is pretty cool. I should get that for my computer. Let's see. Here's a challenge. Tom versus Jeff from Craft Computing. Doing what? Doing XCO? What's XCO? I've got an accountant. I got an accountant clients who work from home. Guy deals with tons of high value info, needs security. Many projects are locking down his consumer residential network. Any advice? Sell him a pfSense. That's Windows doesn't like greater than 2 socket setups. I think you need licensing for some of there. There are mitigations for the Xen and Spectre meltdowns. In terms of virtualization, vSphere is king of the enterprise, whereas among hosting providers, Linux and KVM. We see tons of people moving from VMware over to XCP-ng. So, Tom and Jeff Craft competing, Proxmox on the same hardware, scripted tasks. Maybe. CPU scheduling. Yeah, there's the mitigations are not something. It's handled at the hypervisor level. The DOM 0 in XCP-ng applies the mitigations there. So there's probably a way to do that. Set XOA to VMs sequentially instead of all at once. I think you would do that with the job scheduler. So I think that's the way that would work. There's a job scheduler, and you could probably schedule them to migrate that way instead of all at once. I don't know. That's a good post that question in our forums. It's a. I think there's probably a way to set limits, resource limits on that. You build a resource limit for the number that could transfer, and then create a job to transfer them. I think that's how that would work. When setting a custom gateway, it breaks inter-LAN access. Any idea? Don't set a custom gateway. So I don't. I guess I need to know the whole scope of the scenario you're trying to do to get that. Because if you are using a gateway, you can also add static routes on the gateway that it's pointed at. So that static route will allow it to have the other routes. But that's it, with me. I'm only telling you a partial answer because I only have a partial piece of information. You'd probably have to post that in some forums, maybe the pfSense forums or my forums, to get someone to answer that. Revived as a hypervisor is kind of strange at Xen Technology. Over so many years, so you can get as much traction as other hypervisors. It's used at a lot of companies. Several Fortune 500 ones are using it as well. So I can't say that it doesn't have traction. It certainly doesn't have the popularity of VMware, but it doesn't have the marketing budget of VMware either to make it a household name. So yeah, there's definitely a ton of companies using Zen Server. We consult with a lot of them, and a lot of them are pretty big. We're under NDA for some of the clients. That's just kind of always interesting to me when companies like, "Hey, I love your YouTube channel. That's how we found you. Here's an NDA, so you can't say that we're." So you can't talk about us being a client, and here's all the projects we'd like help with, which is fun. I mean, I'll take the projects, whatever. But these companies are, very, very big and using a lot of Zen server stuff. So it is pretty cool. It's the same thing. Like someone told me pfSense was only consumer. I'm like, whatever. We know how many large companies are using it. A lot of companies just don't talk about their infrastructure. So it's not like you can get this quick list of, oh, here's all the Fortune 1000 companies that are using this as part of a mix in their networks, all the data centers that use it. Yeah, there's a lot of companies use it. So what is people ask this, and I have no idea. I don't even have PF Blocker NG turned on at home right now. I'm much more a fan of just using the uBlock origin, because that way, if something's blocked, I unblock it with my browser and don't have to go anywhere else. So I don't use it that often. I know people get like obsessive with it, so I don't really know what the best feeds are. But they do have. If you go to Reddit r/PF Blocker, there's lots of people asking the same question and then arguing about the answer. So could be worse. Could be what I do at work, not VMware, Xen, or KVM. Yeah. Can you see how many use Netgate versus a custom built system? Huge number of them are using the Netgate hardware. It's pretty common. We just consulted with another big company in the medical field, and they have a series of all HA installed, one of the highest end Netgate boxes, and they're buying more of them. Where so there's a pretty big company with 6 locations across the US that we're migrating them all to pfSense right now. It's kind of a hostile takeover because their old company has been nothing but difficult, not giving us all the information we need to build the site-to-site VPNs. But it's on most of the time with all the businesses. It's rarely not Netgate hardware. Pretty much all the business ones and the ones we deploy for business, we just use the Netgate hardware because it's consistent. So it's just a lot easier that way. Another plus for uBlock origin over PF blocker, it can filter the same domain. And the div's not just a DNS. Yeah, I just really like uBlock. It just works for filtering things. And I can also look at it and see what it's blocking and click a button and stop it. I have a few times, and it's just the way the marketing stuff works. When I have to sign up for things, normally it would sinkhole. This is an aggravation. I know I have to go to this website. I know it's got tracking in the website, whatever. It's part of the business thing that I have to do. So I didn't want to put exceptions in every time PF Blocker caused me not to be able to click the offer codes and marketing links that I need to get discounts. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, uBlock origin sometimes works too well. So yeah, probably. Oh, let's see. What else is there in here? Any more questions? We'll give it till 4 o'clock. So that's about 8 more minutes, 8 more Q&A minutes. I do security in there. I was going to do some rundowns on some of the security news. This is a good piece of security news. This just came out today. So let me pull this up. Hold on. Let's see. So I seen this tweet and I was like, wow, hold on here. Let me actually. Why is it? This is where, stop. There we go. Share. I wish they made this easier. Anyways, somebody pinged me something interesting today. NordVPN threat protection does SSL man in the middle network side of all port 443 traffic. I don't know if anyone has really looked at this before. That's interesting. NordVPN doing some man in the middle stuff. Yeah. That's going to be an interesting discussion. There's already, this just got tweeted a little while ago. And so what, 1 o'clock? So just a couple hours ago. Yeah. Obviously don't enable the threat protection feature. But I did find it interesting, the fact that they're man in the middling the key on there. So yeah. The scanner request upside is local, not server side. Yeah, I don't know. It's still interesting. Other people, Swift on security, terrible idea. I like this response here. Nice job, NSA. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting looking into what is NordVPN doing there. So what do you think has a steeper learning curve? VMware, XCP-ng, Proxmox? I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I'm going to say maybe Proxmox. I think when I first set up Proxmox, I was confused, but then the last time I set it up, I seem much less confused by it. So I don't really know. I didn't find any of them particularly confusing. I don't deal with Proxmox very often at all. Mostly I deal with XCP-ng and VMware. When setting up WAN failovers, it's better to set the default gateway as WAN fail or use firewall policies. I have a video on WAN failover. Probably watch that video, or more importantly, go read the pfSense documentation. They outline exactly what needs to be done for that. So there's more to that threat about Nord. Kevin is going to delete. Threat about Nord. Kevin is going to delete the tweet. Kevin, you think Kevin will delete the tweet? I don't know, man. I'm always dumbfounded that how much of the internet, especially lately, Exchange, is propped up by someone who tweets as Gossie the dog. Like this is how we get our security information. Oh, he's going to delete this thread. I don't know. Let's find out. Bold of you assume competition is less. A ton of VPN companies owned by a handful, often less obscure. Yeah, that's true too. They advertise in an encrypted. Lots of discussion on this, but on a security standpoint, one of the reasons I follow Gossie the dog is because what did he tweet the other day that really had me laugh? it was all about the where is the tweet about the messed up exchange? The exchange stuff is just a disaster right here. So it's Microsoft has just bungled another this is Proxynet shell. One of the victims ran Exchange servers with OBA third-party MFA solution. They thought it failed to protect them as auto-discover Outlook clients is always basic auth and Exchange on-prem. So Microsoft has just dropped the ball because they don't care, because there's zero incentive them to care at all about Exchange. And I kind of laughed that here's the wealthiest company in the world, Microsoft, who releases Exchange kind of well, half-ass is the only way I can describe it. They don't do a good job with security on it. They don't care to do a good job because the only alternative pushes you back into their product of their Office, or I'm sorry, Microsoft 365 product, not Office 365. And the way we are able to secure these terribly patched garbage Exchange problems is we look for a Twitter account by a guy named Gossi the dog, and Gossi the dog will tell you how to properly patch it because Microsoft can't be bothered to tell you how to properly patch their product. Matter of fact, one of his tweets was really the one I was looking for, which was particularly funny, was Microsoft should read their own source code. That's because it is just it's just so bad. And it's just mind numbing. People ask why there's stress in cybersecurity. Um, and it's because if you're responsible for some of the stupid stuff here, you're like, yeah, think about that from a job standpoint. I like that. This has been amusing. He's been posting these too. Like, this is where we have to get our security news because Microsoft has neglected to actually do it properly. So we have to rely on third-party people to tell us what Microsoft is failing in. That's my security rant. Oh, he said he was? In XOXOA, go to host and advanced tab, schedule granularity to core. Oh, okay. I'm assuming that's under host, then advanced tab, scheduler granularity. Where is that? So where do. I'm looking. Hold on. I probably should share that tab. Throw that in here. You say go to host, advanced tab, set scheduler granularity. Is it a custom field you need to add? Four sockets, static, guest. Interesting. Unclear what that was about then. My IT department said my IT department, we have a sad week. We were forced to switch our beloved pfSense to Fortinet. Oh. What pushed you guys to switch? A salesperson. I think yeah, maybe sometime I'll have the Vates people on there. Oh, on the XCP host. So if we go to the host itself, got it. Status. Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. And reboot to apply the updates. Neat. So that's where you set the schedule granularity. Okay. Cool. I forgot what this does. Maybe one day I gotta look in the notes again. Someone asked me about this and I forgot what it does. If someone remembers what the power on mode does, let me know. Speculative store bypass mitigation. Have to look at the host settings, not on a VM. Okay. But I agree. I'll reach out to one of them and see which one of them wants to come on sometime. I like the team at Vates. I've talked to them a couple times. They're great people. I mean, the product kind of speaks for itself, but if you spend time in their forums, they're really on top of it when it comes to like, uh, just fixing features and things like that. A couple times they've jumped in and joined live streams and things like that. I'm always impressed with like how fast they work on things. Some operations are faster with core schedule granularity. That'll be an interesting test and figure out what is or isn't faster based on that. So that would be interesting. Definitely pretty cool. Well, I went past 4:00. Is there any last couple questions anyone has before I jump off of here and go on to my next task? Really, I got to finish some accounting stuff. So a few other people in here. In case my question unclear, I'm talking about how the VM on scale cannot easily mount your NAS storage since VM ping. Yeah, that's a known issue. I don't know when they're fixing it, but they are aware of the issue. Did you see Jeff Geerling's video about KVM PCI? Yes. Yeah, that's pretty neat. The little KVM Pi cards are pretty cool. Those are yeah, there's some Jeff's always got so many cool Pi projects going all the time. Definitely pretty neat. All right. Seeing as there's no questions, or at least no more final ones, I'm going to bounce. One thing to note, I'm not sure how I'm going to do Vlog Thursday next week because I'm going to be at GurCon, as I said. So I will try to do something maybe from my hotel room at GurCon in the morning, just so I keep it consistent, because once GurCon gets going, I probably don't plan to do any other one. So my guess will be I'll be doing an early morning while I have my coffee Vlog Thursday. So let's see. Yeah, everyone's aware of it. I just don't know what they're doing about it. The bug is now like 3 versions that it's been around. So it's people know about it. So it's not I don't know. It just for reasons I may not understand. It's a lower priority for them to fix. If it was a high priority, they would have fixed it. So yes, I didn't look at the back end of what they're doing wrong, whether exactly how they implement it, but yeah, hey, at least people are aware of it. That's always where it all starts. But thanks everyone for joining, and I will see you next time and try to get a few more videos posted somewhere in between. All right, take care.